Today on Channel A, two students featured in one of the nation's leading newspapers.
Coming up, how Boone is dealing with damages from the nationally covered flood.
And how students here at Appalachian State feel about national gun laws. Good evening and welcome to Channel A. I'm Kaylie Jones.
And I'm Evan Taylor.
We hope you tune in weekly for a recap of events here at App State. A controversial proposal for multifamily housing was approved in a 4-to-1 vote this week by the Boone Town Council. The proposal submitted by the Affordable Housing Task Force on February 22nd allows no more than 2 unrelated persons to live within a unit in new developments. Other changes include putting a limit on bedroom to bathroom ratios, limiting parking spaces to 2 per unit, and restricting the building heights to 3 stories. However, the new proposal does not hinder any future large-scale student housing developments. Based on an exemption, the new standards can be avoided. However, Watauga County Commissioner Chairman Nathan Miller says the result could create a monopoly on current student housing developments.
It's been a little over 3 weeks since the town of Boone experienced widespread flooding that left many homeless. The preliminary assessments from North Carolina's Division of Emergency Management estimate the damages to be roughly $1 million. Watauga County Emergency Management Coordinator Stephen Sudderth said this figure does not include the cost of damage to public or private roads or bridges. Mr. Sudderth estimates that another $500,000 in additional damages bring the projected total to $1.5 million. The town of Boone is asking Governor Pat McCrory to issue a disaster declaration for Watauga County. This would entitle those who experience damage to apply for a low-interest loan for repairs. Despite being an affordable university, App State students are still feeling the pressure of being in debt from student loans. The New York Times saw the importance of this and interviewed 2 students regarding their future debt. Channel A's Matt McClellan spoke to these students to hear their reactions to this national attention.
I had no idea it was going to be that big of a deal. I thought it was just going to be a small article in the back of the business section.
It's not every day an ASU student is profiled in the New York Times. Steve Bodefeld says it all started when columnist Ron Lieber contacted professors at Appalachian.
He came to App State because offhand comment that Virginia Fox said.
I have very little tolerance for people who tell me that they graduate with $200,000 of debt.
What Lieber found is that financing college without student loan debt is possible, but increasingly rare.
He came down from New York and just sat down and liked our story.
Steve and his wife Jen operate on a strict budget. The food they grow from their garden and the wood they chop for their fire means more money to pay tuition.
In the end, I'm looking at not having any student loan debt or not having that extra $400 or $500 a month payment.
Steve's story of living debt-free is uncommon, to say the least. His GI Bill, National Guard service, and part-time job as an electrician keep his family free of debt.
You're looking at students now coming out with even $20,000 or $40,000 in debt.
Kelsey Manuel is also an uncommonly hard worker. But unlike Steve Bodefeld, she will have as much as $30,000 in student loan debts when she graduates next May.
I just worry about how much is going to be set monthly.
Kelsey says there is much room for improvement in the financial aid system.
There's too many loopholes around it, and not enough people can get what they need.
Kelsey hopes that after reading about her in the New York Times, other students will get serious about paying off their student loans.
It doesn't seem like a real number. Well, it is, and it comes out in the end.
Reporting for Channel A News, I'm Matt McClellan.
The widening of US 321 in Watauga and Caldwell counties is currently 16% complete and slightly behind schedule. According to resident engineer Doug Eller of the North Carolina Department of Transportation, the contractor of the $65 million project is in the process of being replaced due to financial difficulties. The project was originally awarded to Taylor & Murphy Construction Company of Asheville in December 2011. But last week it was decided that Travelers Insurance would take over control to award the project to a different contractor. Due to the changeover, NCDOT now expects the project to be completed in October 2015.
Robert L. Turchin Sr., the longtime benefactor of Appalachian State University, passed away recently at the age of 90. Turchin was born February 22, 1922 in New York and spent much of his life as a lieutenant and chief gunnery officer until the end of World War II. After his service, he developed Robert L. Turchin Incorporated, which provided funding for over 100 major buildings in the country. Turchin and his wife generously supported Appalachian State University, and the Turchin Center for the Visual Arts is named in their honor. According to his obituary, Bob was most proud of being the honorary coach of the special teams for the three-time national championship ASU Mountaineer football team. Events and info about the Turchin Center can be found at tcva.org. Gun laws are an issue of heated discussion here in the United States. Recent events have fueled this conversation, and we wanted to hear what students at our university think should be done.
With gun control always being a hot-button issue, we went out and asked Appalachian students, what do you think about gun control?
My personal opinion is that, having shotguns and pistols in your house is cool, especially if you're hunting and stuff. I think having AK-47s and assault rifles is a little excessive. But if you're doing it for game and sport or house protection, I think it's all right.
I'm not sure, really, my full opinions on gun laws or anything of the sort, but I know for a fact taking them away is not going to solve all these problems of kids getting shot up in schools and stuff. We're still going to be able to find them, just like people can find weed, underage kids can find alcohol.
I'm going to be a teacher one day, so the recent events that have happened, made me step back and think about it. I think people that are responsible can use a gun responsibly, should be able to, but then again, we don't really know who's responsible and who's not, so I don't know how you can really tell who should have a gun and who shouldn't. It's hard to make laws. That's why my opinion is fuzzy.
I believe in the Second Amendment rights. I believe you should have the right to own a gun and be able to protect yourself, but I don't see the need in having all the assault rifles and those things within the home. I own several guns myself, home shotguns, rifles. I go hunting all the time, but don't take mine and everything will be all right.
It should be allowed that you should be able to own a gun in your own house. However, I think there should be limitations, a little bit more than what we currently have, but it's very sort of case by case type.
I think gun control, in my opinion, isn't the best in America. I don't think that everyone should be able to just, get a gun like it is here, but I think there should be some sort of restrictions on who can and get guns in America.
For Channel A, I'm Will Long.
Coming up, Channel A wants you to be ready for next week's weather.
Soon it will be time for students to apply for financial aid. Stay tuned to hear when the Financial Aid Office will open their doors to help out.
And App State Baseball is preparing for their home game this weekend.
Bring out the action hero in you. Fuel up right and get energized. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
It's that time of year again for students to take advantage of financial aid. Tomorrow morning, Appalachian State will have financial aid officers and assistants help students with their FAFSA forms. All 100 counties of North Carolina will be participating in free FAFSA Day programs. The free application for federal student aid can be accessed online at fafsa.ed.gov. It is encouraged to get these forms in early for the best results. The free session will begin tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and last until noon in Edwin Duncan Hall, room 324. In world news, Olympic sprinter and double amputee Oscar Pistorius has been granted bail and will be freed from custody pending his trial in the shooting death of his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. Chief Magistrate Judge Desmond Nair announced his decision to release Pistorius on Friday after 4 days of arguments from prosecution and defense. The judge cited a number of problems with the police investigation into the death of the Olympic sprinter's girlfriend. Prosecutors allege Pistorius killed 29-year-old Reva Steenkamp after a heated argument in the early morning hours of Valentine's Day.
Sony Entertainment hosted a highly anticipated media event Wednesday in New York to introduce the PlayStation 4. For the first time in 7 years, the Japanese electronics giant will release a new gaming console that is said to have the architecture of a supercharged PC. Technical details of the gaming system include 8 gigabytes of system memory and the ability to connect with smartphones and tablets for instant social media interaction. The PS4 will also have the streaming capability for connections to services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. Sony announced Wednesday that the next generation console will go on sale this holiday season. After some winter weather last week, what's it looking like this week, Amber?
Thanks, Evan. So if you look outside right now, you can probably tell that there is a chance of rain. So you can look at these pictures that we have from Sanford Mall just about an hour ago, and it's pretty nasty out there. The sky looks like it is about to fall out. Now take a look at this picture from Rankin. It's a little bit more foggy, it's gross, and I am fully anticipating some rain later today. The chance of rain is at about 30% right now, but that's going to boost up to about 70% after midnight. So the question is, are we going to have rain this weekend? Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. As you can tell from this forecast, you can see that we're going to have some rain tomorrow, so keep that in mind as you start making your plans. I would recommend working on your homework tomorrow because the sun's going to be coming out on Sunday. It's going to be about 50 degrees. It'll be pretty warm throughout the week until we get to Tuesday. There's a chance of a wintry mix on Tuesday. It'll probably be fairly similar to yesterday and earlier in the week, so definitely keep that in mind. And as always at Appalachian, it is a good idea to bring a rain jacket with you at all times. So what is the rest of the country looking at right now? Let's take a look. Right now in the entire southeast, we have rain, and when you get further north, there is snow and ice, and it's just gross. And then if you look on the west coast, there is snow and ice as well. So we're all in this together, bonding from the east to the west coast. The middle land, not so much. They are pretty mild right now. But if you look later in the week, March 1st, first day of March next Friday, you generally anticipate warmer weather in March. But we will have some snow next Friday, so keep that in mind as you start making your winter plans. I don't understand why we can't have snow days during the week and we can have classes off. So that's what next week is looking like, and don't forget, bring that rain jacket with you tonight. Back to you, Kaylie.
Thanks, Amber. Coming up after the break, Colin Barrier will update you with the baseball team's progress this season.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If you could sit with me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book could be the first little thing that helps to change a life. Book people unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Appalachian State Baseball hit 3 home runs off first-team All-American Carlos Rodon in the Mountaineers' 6-3 win over the number 8 ranked NC State Wolfpack in last Friday's season opener. Freshmen Jalen Davis and juniors Noah Holmes and Preston Troutman all homered off Rodon to give Appalachian State a 5-0 advantage just 3.5 innings into the game. And pitchers Jamie Nunn, Taylor Thurber, Tyler Moore, and Rob Marcello made the lead stand up in the Mountaineers' 5th win over a nationally ranked opponent in the past calendar year. The Mountaineers returned to Boone for the 2013 home opener against Canisius and routed the Golden Griffins 13-6. The Apps continue their homestand this weekend with 3 games against Butler, beginning with a doubleheader Saturday at 1 and the 3rd game on Sunday also at 1. The Appalachian State men's basketball team shot just under 50% from three-point land, but it wasn't enough as the Mountaineers suffered a stunning 80-77 overtime loss to the Citadel on Wednesday. The loss drops the Mountaineers to 12-15 on the season and 8-8 in Southern Conference play. They play host to Sanford on Thursday at 7 p.m., a game the Apps desperately need if they want to get back in the race for a SoCon tournament bye. Led by 19 points from Courtney Freeman, the ASU women's basketball team defeated College of Charleston 74-65 in the first game of the men's and women's doubleheader at the Home Center Wednesday night. The loss brings the Apps to 18, and the win brings the Apps to 18-6 on the year and 12-4 in conference play. Coach Darcy Vincent and company will hit the road twice against UNCG and Elon before meeting Chattanooga at the Home Center on March 2nd at 4:30 p.m. So lots of events going on around the mountain. Great time to be a Mountaineer athletics fan.
And how do you feel we match up against Samford?
Well, it's a game that when the Mountaineers went down to Birmingham, they barely lost. But I think ASU only their second loss at home since November to the Citadel. They play very well at home, so I think it's going to be a great game, a great opportunity for the Mountaineers.
Okay, thank you. After the break, hear how students brave the cold for the polar plunge.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
My dad's one of the producers who's there today. Bring this one.
The 15th annual Polar Plunge was held yesterday, raising money for the Watauga County Special Olympics. Almost 150 people braved the cold temperatures and jumped into the duck pond yesterday. Whether they jumped, dived, or did a flip into the water, the chilly 35-degree water made for a cold swim back to shore. The unofficial amount of money raised is over $6,800. The money goes to supporting the Watauga County Special Olympics.
So I will say that while it was cold yesterday, it was much better than it was today. People outside were wearing shorts. They were crazy. It was in the 50s and people were going wild.
Yeah. I did the polar plunge about 3 years ago in real icy, real snow. They had to break up the ice on Duck Pond. But,
that's dedication.
Yeah. How's the weather coming up?
Well, it's going to be rainy this coming week, but we can get through it, I'm definitely sure.
Okay. Channel A thanks you for watching today, and we hope you tune in next week.